I think retro look is something that is continuous with my previous movies. I'm inspired mostly by some printed material, like some old comic books or old book illustrations. And yeah, the main difference from my previous works was color, and actually I wanted to make movie as colorful as possible, but I discovered like many difficulties in managing the big amount of colors. So developing the color palette took much time, and it's actually two color palettes. Like one is, I would call it like colors of Eastern European post-communist like landscape with rusty brown and gray concrete and a little bit rotten green, and this sky that is constantly this white, light gray, and everything is a little bit gloomy, and this is clashed with this like fluorescent UV colors from this like rave parties, decorations or clothing at the time, so that are very saturated and flashy, but still they are like kind of from the past, so they are a little bit smudged and bleached. And basically it was process of destroying this very clean, very saturated 3D material with like layers of grain and blur and some flashes. So it was like very specific downgrading. It's not chronologically ordered, but there are stitched experiences of me, my friends, or some people that I interviewed that were at the beginnings of this movement in Poland, at least. For example, Karol Sucha, he's a painter, and his artworks were inspiration for the visuals, but also he's a musician, and two of his tracks are in the movie. They are kind of main themes of this movie. One is on this rave party scene, and one is appearing in the car at the very beginning, this like very dubby track. So I made an interview with him and in his house, and I realized how different this scene was at the beginnings, when there was like no internet. It was not so commercialized, and everything was based much more on like human network than this internet network. Like, you just needed to know the right people. Like all the fashion was also like DIY, self-made. There was like, so I was fascinated by this like beginnings of like how subculture is born, and how it was like kind of extension of punk rock movement, like that, just more technologically advanced. I like working with actors. I like the small details of their personalities that they add to the characters, that some gestures that I would never come up with if I would animate it from scratch. So when I'm working alone at the computer as an animator, what I envy to my live action director friends, it's this like work on a shooting plans with actors, and discovering something unexpected that comes up from the situation. Like for example, for the dance movements at the rave scene, my flatmate at the time, she was a choreographer, and we were going to the parties together and picking some people from the dance floor to volunteer with their movements, and we basically organized like party in the motion capture studio. There was like live DJ playing, and it was a lot of fun and a lot of sweat and a lot of material to cut and combine this like best movements. That was most fun day of the whole production. One of my favorite genres is like teenage movie, and in most cases I combine two characters, like male and female, and I'm interested in this like not precise, not defined relationships between them, like, when they are somehow connected, somehow apart, but you don't know what is actually connection between them, and this like tension is interesting for me. So script writing process took very long, I think, about 1 year, and towards the end, after 3 years passed of the production, you discover that you are a different person than you were at the beginning. So around 1/3 of the script was just thrown out. Many ready-made scenes were thrown out, and we rewrote around 1/3 of the script, and that was good. I think it's always good to treat your script as some living creature that is constantly changing, and you need to have some like spaces for make changes and be constantly aware and updated. I'm making my own music that is very trashy, but I like doing it. But what I like in music part in the movies that I'm making is that I have opportunity to ask some artists that I admire to ask for cooperation, and I was very happy for this movie that they agreed for not too high payment. They were just excited about this project, and so there was like, I know, my idols like Andy Jenkinson, known as Sifax Acid Crew, or there was like Polish artists like from current times, like my friend Chino from Kraków, or there was very young guy from Australia. So it was like some people participating in this soundtrack are kind of like founders of this scene, so they are very authentic, and I was very determined to get them for my movie. It went good.